Blindside, subject Oher alleges Tuohys told millions of lies. Retired NFL star Michael Oher, whose supposed adoption by a wealthy white family was immortalized in the 2009 film, The Blind Side, filed a petition Monday in a Tennessee court alleging that a central part of the story was a lie concocted by the family to enrich themselves at their expense. The 14-page petition, filed in probate court in Shelby County, Tennessee, alleges that Sean and Leigh and Tuohy, who took Oher home as high school students, never adopted him. Instead, less than 3 months after Oher turned 18 in 2004, the petition says, the couple tricked him into signing a document making them his curators, which gave them the legal power to enter into commercial agreements on its behalf. It wouldn't have existed without him. In the years since, the Tuohys have continued to refer to 37-year-old Oher as their adopted son and have used this claim to promote their foundation as well as Leigh and Tuohy's work as an author and motivational speaker. Michael's adoption lie is one upon which co-curators Leigh and Tuohy and Sean Tuohy have enriched themselves at the expense of their neighborhood, the undersigned Michael Oher, the legal filing reads. Michael Oher discovered this lie to his chagrin and embarrassment in February 2023, when he learned that the conservatorship he had consented to on the grounds that it would make him a member of the Tuohy family, did not in fact provide him with no family relationship with the Tuohys. The Tuohy family did not immediately return phone calls Monday to the numbers listed for them. Their attorney, Steve Faries, declined to comment to ESPN on Monday, saying the family would file a legal response to the allegations in the coming weeks. Sean Tuohy told the Daily Memphian website he was stunned by Oher's claims and said the Tuohys didn't make any money from the film, only a share of the profits from Michael Lewis' book, which was the basis of the film. "We are devastated," Sean Tuohy told the outlet. "It's heartbreaking to think we'd make money off any of our kids. But we're going to love Michael at 37 the way we loved him at 16. Oher's petition asks the court to end the Tuohy's guardianship and issue an injunction prohibiting them from using his name and likeness. He also demands a full accounting of the money the Tuohys made using Oher's name, and that the couple pay him their fair share of the profits, as well as unspecified compensatory and punitive damages. Since at least August 2004, the conservatives have allowed Michael, in particular, and the public in general, to believe that the conservatives adopted Michael and used this lie to obtain financial advantages for themselves and the foundations that they own or exercise control, the petition says. All monies paid in this way should, in good conscience and fairness, be returned and paid to said service, Michael Oher. Oher was a rising high school student when he signed the guardianship papers, and he wrote that the Tuohys told him there was essentially no difference between adoption and guardianship. "They explained to me that it meant pretty much the same as adoptive parents, but the laws were just written in a way that took into account my age," Oher wrote in her best-selling 2011 memoir. "I beat the odds. But there are important legal distinctions. If Oher had been adopted by the Tuohys, he would have been a legal member of their family and he would have retained the power to manage his own financial affairs. Under guardianship, Oher ceded that authority to the Tuohys, even though he was a legal adult with no known physical or psychological disabilities." The petition alleges that the Tuohys began negotiating a movie deal about their relationship with Oher shortly after the 2006 release of the book, The Blind Side, Evolution of a Game, which chronicles the story. According to the legal filing, the film paid the Tuohys and their 2 biological children each $225,000, plus 2.5% of the film's defined net proceeds. The film became a critically acclaimed blockbuster, grossing over $300 million at the box office and tens of millions more in home video sales. The film received an Oscar nomination for Best Picture and Sandra Bullock won Best Actress for her portrayal of Leigh and Tuohy. While the deal allowed the Tuohys to enjoy the film, the petition alleges that a separate 2007 contract allegedly signed by Oher appears to give 20th Century Fox Studios lifetime rights to his story, without any payment. The filing says Oher has no recollection of ever signing that contract, and even if he did, no one explained its implications to him. The agreement indicates that the 4 members of the Tuohy family have the same representative at the Creative Artists Agency, the petition states. But Oher's agent, who would receive the movie contract and payment notices, is listed as Deborah Brannon, a close family friend of the Tuohys and the same attorney who filed the petition for conservatorship in 2004, according to the request. Brannon did not call his law firm Monday. In the past, the Tuohys have denied making much money from the film, saying they received a lump sum for the story and did not reap any of the profits from the film. And what they earned, they added, was shared with Oher. "We broke it down into 5 ways," the Tuohys wrote in their 2010 book, In a Heartbeat, Sharing the Power of Cheerful Giving. Oher's lawsuit says he never received any money from the movie, even though he had long suspected others were profiting from it, according to his attorney, J. Gerard Strange IV. Whenever Oher asked questions, he didn't get straight answers, his attorney said. And since the film's success coincided with the start of his lucrative NFL career in 2009, Oher didn't take the time to fully investigate the deal until after he retired in 2016, Strange said. Oher eventually hired a lawyer who helped him uncover the details surrounding the movie deal and his legal connection to the people he believed to be his adoptive parents. His attorney dug up the guardianship document in February, and Oher came to the painful realization that the Tuohys hadn't passed it. "Mike didn't grow up with a stable family life," Strange said. When the Tuohy family told Mike they loved him and wanted to adopt him, it filled a void that had marked him his entire life. Finding out he hadn't been adopted was devastating. Mike can hurt him deeply. The petition marks a sharp break in what had been an inspiring, albeit disturbing and stereotypical, feel-good story. As the film depicted the story, the Tuohys adopted Oher, a poor, virtually homeless black teenager struggling in school. They made Oher part of a working family for the first time. They helped him catch up in school, taught him the basics of football and how to harness his physical skills, setting him on the path to sporting stardom. The truth, however, was more complicated. Oher certainly led a difficult life growing up. But he also had the intelligence, the courage and a lot of help from the Tuohys and others to rise above his situation. Oher was one of 12 children born to his mother, who struggled with drug addiction. Before his 11th birthday, Oher was placed in foster care, where he bounced around numerous homes and sometimes lived on the streets. Although he was an able student, he attended 11 schools in 9 years and repeated grades 1 and 2, leaving him behind academically. His fortunes changed after a friend's father, impressed with Oher's drive and focus, introduced him to the principal of a private Christian school in a prosperous Memphis neighborhood. Oher began attending school in the 10th grade, even as her home life remained chaotic. He was a sports prodigy, excelling in track and field, basketball and football, a game he had studied for years. He started playing football for his new school in the 11th grade, quickly establishing himself as one of the top offensive linemen in the nation, and college scholarship offers poured in from major football programs across the country. Due to his unstable housing situation, Oher frequently stayed with his classmates, including the Tuohys, whose children attended the school. The petition states that the Tuohys forged a closer relationship with him once Oher's athletic prowess caught the eye. They invited him to spend more nights at their spacious Memphis home and took him shopping. Eventually, they asked Oher to move in. They encouraged him to address them as Mom and Dad, and said they planned to adopt him, according to the filing. Oher was thrilled about it all at the time, his attorney said, and he trusted the Tuohys completely. Oher then played college football at the University of Mississippi, the Tuohys' alma mater. He was a 2-time All-American and a first-round pick of the Baltimore Ravens in 2009. After the success of The Blind Side, however, suspicion slowly overshadowed Oher's faith in the Tuohys, his lawyer said. Mike's relationship with the Tuohy family began to decline when he discovered he was portrayed in the film as unintelligent, Strange said. Their relationship continued to sour when he learned he was the only family member not to receive royalty checks from the film, and it was broken for good when he realized he wasn't. Was not adopted and that he was not part of the family. For years, Oher chafed at the way The Blind Side portrayed him, saying it hurt his football career and clouded the way people saw him. He said based on the film, some NFL decision-makers assumed he was mentally slow or lacked leadership skills. People look at me and they take things from me because of a movie, Oher told ESPN in 2015. They don't really see the skills and the kind of player that I am. For their part, the Tuohys agreed that Oher still had what it took to succeed. If there's a fundamental misunderstanding about Michael, it's that he needed saving, the Tuohys wrote in their book. We discovered that beneath his shyness, shuffling steps and bowed head, he had a tremendous will to determine the course of his own life. For years, Oher said, he was content to live with the mythos created by the film, believing its inspirational message outweighed the pain inflicted by what he saw as an inaccurate portrayal of his life. But that has changed. There was so much created from The Blind Side that I'm grateful for, which is why you might be shocked that the experience surrounding the story was also a big source of some of my most hurt and pain. 14 years, Oher wrote in his book, When Your Back's Against the Wall, published last week. Beyond the details of the deal, the politics and the money behind the book and the film, it was the principle of the choices some people made that resonated with me the most.